We take you to western Tennessee. We're following the aftermath of last week's deadly explosion at an explosives manufacturing plant. 16 people died in the blast. And now a potentially dangerous cleanup effort is underway. So here are officials there updating the public today.
The first part is we have to make sure that the scene is safe for everybody to work, all the first responders that are there to work. We make sure that that scene is safe, render anything that needs to be neutralized as far as potential hazards, whether that's explosives or anything else. We'll make that secure, and then we start to do the recovery process of any remains that are there, so that as each part as we go to clear, it's a very big site, and as we go to clear those areas, then it's a two-part process there to do that. So, and then as that area is clear, and then once we have that entire area cleared for all hazards, all remains, everything else, then we'll start the post-blast investigation and that to kind of see the cause and origin of what happened.
Let's go now to CBS News correspondent Nicole Valdes. She is live in Memphis with more. And Nicole, what are we learning today?
Well, unfortunately, we heard the emotional press conference today as the sheriff of Humphreys County, Chris Davis, who we've heard from several times since that Friday blast, he named each and every one of the 16 victims believed to have been killed in that explosion that morning. He admitted one of them was a close friend, a neighbor, and you could tell that this was a very difficult thing to talk about and has been since the beginning of this investigation, one that they say they are still working very slowly through because, frankly, they admitted that this is not an easy thing to try to nail down what may have triggered a blast of this magnitude when you're not really able to see much of the evidence. They have admitted, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, they are leading this investigation and said that they are sort of having to piece a puzzle back together as they try to figure out what materials were inside that building that may have set off this kind of explosion.
Yeah, and so many people impacted, primarily the community as well. What are you hearing from them?
Yeah, well, there has been several prayer gatherings, several candlelight vigils since Friday. A lot of people in that small town knew each other, so they've sort of been leaning on each other for that help, for that shoulder to cry on, as they, of course, process the trauma and the grief that comes along with a disaster of this magnitude. Yesterday, I spoke to an employee at Accurate Energetic Systems. That's the company here, that munitions plant where that building unfortunately exploded. She mentioned that she'd only been working there for about 3 months, but she knew many of the men and women who were inside the building at the time of the blast.
I woke up to these texts and calls. My phone was blowing up, like, are you okay? There was an explosion. And so, like, it was very nerve-wracking.
What is it like to tell yourself that you could have been in that building? You could have been one of those people.
The only thing that I can say is, sorry, God's got a plan for me here that I haven't finished. God clearly has a plan for me here somewhere that I just haven't done yet. It just wasn't my time.
Do you want to go back?
It's up in the air. It's a good company. But is it worth me risking my life? You know, I got kids and family, and so I'm probably not gonna go back.
It's such a difficult interview, and she really opened up about not only the feelings that she's been having since, of course, this blast happened, that the survivor's guilt that she and so many of the other employees at that factory, or that plant, I should say, that were not in that building at the time are dealing with right now. But again, do they want to go back to work knowing what has taken place? She did emphasize a lot of the safety precautions that they take every single day working at a facility that does handle these kind of explosives. She said that she felt safe despite, of course, the idea of working around these kind of ingredients, this kind of thing. She said, look, there were a lot of things that we did. We didn't wear metal inside. We didn't take our phones in, anything that could produce electricity or anything that had batteries. So she was stunned to hear that something like this did actually happen. Elizabeth.
Absolutely. We thank her for being so open, and Nicole, thank you for that emotional interview. Appreciate that.